Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're literally unlocking the realm of imagination in English. We're going to explore the mechanics behind, well, honestly, one of its most fascinating grammar quirks. I'm super thrilled to guide you through this, because learning how to talk about the impossible, that is exactly where a language truly comes alive. So, what would you do if you won the lottery? I mean, we've all thought about it, right? This classic hypothetical question immediately plunges us into the world of the second conditional. It's kind of the ultimate what-if tense. It's exactly the tool we use to dream, to wonder, and to just imagine completely different realities. Okay, to master talking about the impossible, here's our roadmap for today. We'll hit 1, the realm of imagination, 2, the grammar blueprint, 3, possible versus hypothetical, 4, the whole was versus were debate, and finally, number 5, common translation traps. Let's dive in. All right, kicking things off with section 1, the realm of imagination. You see, the second conditional is all about probability. We use this specific structure to express the consequences of totally unrealistic situations in the present or the future. We're talking about things that have, maybe a tiny 1 to 5% chance of actually happening, like winning that lottery we just talked about, or things that literally have a 0% probability, meaning they're completely impossible right now. For example, if I had more free time, I would play more sport. The reality? I have 0 free time, but we're imagining the exact opposite. Moving right along to section 2, the grammar blueprint. So every single second conditional sentence is built on 2 core building blocks. It's like a 2-piece puzzle. First, we have the condition, or the if clause, which basically acts as our trigger. This uses the word if, a subject, and the simple past tense. Then, on the other side, we have the results clause. This describes the imagined action, and it uses a subject followed by words like would, might, or could, plus the base verb. Let's actually bring those blocks together. Take a look at this. If he exercised more, he'd be thinner. Now notice the irony here. We're using the past tense word exercised, right? But we aren't talking about the past at all, not even a little bit. We're actually using a past tense form to signal non-reality, describing a present or future imagination. It's this fascinating quirk where English just repurposes the past tense to mean the unreal present. And here's an absolutely crucial point. You have options in your result clause. You really don't always have to use would. Swapping out would for could beautifully emphasizes the opening of new possibilities. Like, if I were taller, I could be a professional basketball player. Using could here really highlights the ability or the potential outcome, rather than just stating a definite result. Ooh, and we can also completely flip the order of our building blocks. If your company went bankrupt, what would you do? Notice how we can safely reverse the order of the result and the condition here. If we start with the if clause, we use a comma to separate the 2 parts. But, and this is a neat trick, if we flipped it to what would you do if your company went bankrupt, that comma just drops out completely. Poof, gone. Okay, section 3, possible versus hypothetical. Let's do a quick comparison between the first and second conditionals to really nail this down. The first conditional talks about things that might actually happen, like if I have enough money, I'll buy some new shoes. That's highly possible, right? But the second conditional, that is reserved for pure dreams. If I had enough money, I would buy a mansion with a swimming pool. See the difference there? One is a totally realistic plan, while the other is a super unlikely hypothetical scenario. But wait, the second conditional isn't just for wild daydreaming. It actually has this brilliant everyday utility. Because it creates that sense of unreality, it establishes a respectful distance. And that makes indirect advice and requests sound incredibly polite. For example, asking, would you mind if I used your computer, sounds so much softer and just way more thoughtful than demanding to use it. All right, moving to section 4, the was versus were debate. Okay, quote, contrary to fact takes the plural. This old school rule, which was fiercely guarded by a mother on a Reddit grammar thread, by the way, perfectly captures why we traditionally say if I were instead of if I was. It is literally the ultimate internet grammar police rallying cry. But why is that exactly? Well, it all comes down to something called the subjunctive mood. English signals this non-reality by using the subjunctive, where the verb to be uniquely transforms into were for every single person. Yep, every person. So instead of the real past tense, I was or he was, the unreal, imaginary form becomes I were and he were. Hey, language is always evolving, right? Well, were is a strict prescriptive rule for formal writing, the way grammar should be according to the textbooks. Using was has become a highly common descriptive reality in everyday conversation. You're going to frequently hear native speakers say things like, if I was rich, in casual settings. Both are totally understood, but were is considered formally correct. However, there is one place where this debate completely ends. When you're putting yourself in someone else's shoes to give advice, the phrase, if I were you, is a fixed expression. You should absolutely never substitute it with was. You'd say, if I were you, I would stay home and rest. Actually, scratch that. Never say, if I was you. It's the golden exception that always, always stays formal. And finally, Section 5, Common Translation Traps. Because other languages use these very long, complex subjunctive tenses to express hypotheticals, learners often fall into what I call the overcomplication trap. It's like they want English to be as delightfully complicated as their native language. So they'll put would in both halves of the sentence, saying something like, if I would know that, I wouldn't tell you. But remember our rule, never put would inside the if clause. The fix is incredibly straightforward. Just use the simple past. If I knew that, I wouldn't tell you. Just keep it simple. Now, to really take your English to the next level and elevate your fluency, remember that you can trigger these hypothetical scenarios using advanced vocabulary. You don't have to just rely on the word if. You can say things like, you could have a party provided that you weren't noisy. Or maybe, I'd sell you the ranch on condition that you paid in cash. These phrases add incredible nuance to your conditional sentences. So as you walk away with this magical grammar key today, ask yourself this final hypothetical question and just imagine the endless possibilities. If you could change one thing about the English language, what would it be? Definitely something to think about. Thank you so much for exploring the second conditional with me today. Keep dreaming, keep practicing, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.